A culture of sexual harassment exists within a Cedar Rapids post office, according to a current and a former employee. Both workers tell us that women are photographed without their permission and face comments consistently about their underwear, breasts, and sexual activity. KCRG TV9's Ethan Stein spoke with them and joins us now live in the studio with his I-9 investigation. Ethan.
Beth, Emily Monlux and Colton Martinson say their complaints were ignored. Both are parents and continued working at the post office to feed their families. But for Emily, the constant abuse happened too often to ignore.
Can you bend over one more time? I'd like to check out the backyard. Letting the girls come out to play today. Can you bend over one more time? I missed it.
Emily Monlux can list some of the sexual comments she received from coworkers at UPS's Northeast Cedar Rapids station.
Whenever I cut my hair, it was, who's the new 16-year-old boy that started? I guess that would be a form of body shaming. I never thought about that one. That if I can't put it in pigtails and use it as handlebars, it's not long enough. I should quit my job and go be one of the single moms on OnlyFans that take off their clothes for a living. I became a whore because of the things that were said to me and about me.
She remembers watching her coworkers go through similar abuse.
Look, it's so-and-so's panties. And he walks up to her and he goes, "It's the panties that you wore last night." I turn it into a mask.
And you're watching this going on.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking when you're seeing that?
I'm looking at this 22-year-old girl and my heart hurts. Because I'm substantially older than her. And I know what I feel. And I'm looking at her and you can physically see when somebody doesn't know what to do. And this look of, there's people standing around here watching this.
Monlux says she made multiple complaints, but she says she was never interviewed, even though the post office's written policy requires an investigation. We requested the number of complaints, copies of any investigation, and any disciplinary actions taken related to sexual harassment in Cedar Rapids through a public information request. About a month later, we're still waiting for documents.
Think of it as like a gentleman's club, honestly.
Colton Martinson is a former supervisor at the same office. He says he heard sexual comments related to women's breasts, butt, and underwear multiple times a week, but didn't know how to handle those complaints.
How many complaints have you received about, that type of behavior or those comments at the post office?
Over a dozen.
How many of those did you try to investigate?
At least half.
Why did you only try to investigate at least half?
The first time it ever happened, I told my manager about it a lot because I was still such a new supervisor. I didn't really understand what to do. And from what I was told, my old manager was like, "Oh, this happens with that guy before." And I was like, well, if it's happened with this guy before, like, do something.
An Inspector General's report found nationally an overwhelming 24 out of 25 supervisors interviewed did not complete trainings related to grievances. That's USPS's umbrella term for almost any issues in the workplace, including sexual harassment. According to the report, employees received more than $225 million in settlements over a 5-year period. Only $5,000 were specifically related to sexual harassment, but the number could have been significantly higher because the system managers would use to label those payments was outdated, inaccurate, or nondescriptive.
Well, when you don't know how to do something and it just falls off the face of the earth.
Our I-9 team found multiple lawsuits filed against USPS in federal court over the past 5 years. Monlux says she has found similar stories online from other media outlets, which has left her confused.
A company would recognize, okay, if this is an issue and it's cost us this, maybe we don't want to have this issue again.
Why did you feel a need to call us and speak with us?
I need things to change. I can't have a little girl that's me. I can't have a little girl that feels like I do. And can't do that to her. And so I'm scared. I think that's probably what I'm scared of.
Emily says the post office interviewed her for the first time about her complaints yesterday after we started asking questions. Post Office spokesperson declined our multiple requests for an on-camera interview, citing an ongoing investigation. He did send us a statement saying sexual harassment is taken seriously and investigated thoroughly. We did take our findings to the Post Office's boss, Congress. It's a story we're working on for tomorrow. In studio, Ethan Stein, KCRG TV 9 News.
Ethan, thank you. And if you have a story you'd like us to investigate, you can always call the I-9 tip line, 319-399-5928, or you can email us, newsroom@kcrg.com.